Hey guys, Helen Hartsmith here again from the Heart of the Witch's Path YouTube channel. Hope you're having a good day. I am. I know that things were kind of quiet last week on the channel and on the blog, but that's because I had something brewing, like literally. And so I'm actually coming to you from inside the reason that my week was so incredibly busy last week. So I got a new car. Yay! So a new car means, spell work and protection and all that good stuff. So let's talk vehicle magic, shall we? Stay tuned. I want to cover a number of things that I have done in the past that that kind of relate to vehicle magic, and specifically some things that I did in the last week that helped me to bring home the awesome new car that I was able to do. So the first thing that I wanted to talk about is this. This is a prosperity jar that I actually put together at one of our pagan meetups. Freya is fascinated with the camera. You can't rub on that, baby. You're gonna knock the camera over, and then that's a sad thing. So, okay. Hi, sweet girl. Let's see if some pets will make her happy. Anyhow, I made this prosperity jar at a pagan meetup a few months ago. It's probably been more than a few months, but this is something that I made there, and all of its contents have to do with prosperity and bringing prosperity. So looking at what we've gotten here, I see there's oats in here. I see there's pinto beans, which pinto beans are good for opening channels and creating action and movement. There's also a cinnamon stick in here. There is a rune in here that that is meant to attract wealth. There's shells. Freya Lynn, leave that alone. Shells, of course, were used as a form of money by various folks, and so that was kind of a good thing to add. And there's almonds in here, and those are the things that I can easily discern. So as I said, this is a prosperity jar that I put together, and I've kind of been, it's been in the sacred space here, trying to bring about prosperity. So my previous vehicle, it was on my goal list this year to start saving money in order to purchase a new vehicle. And so things kind of progressed last week that made it so that that future plan kind of really should happen a little sooner. And so this kind of played a role, and doing any kind of spell jar is kind of new for me. I've done charm bags before and things like that, but an actual jar like this, it's relatively new, and it's something that I kind of like. And so if anyone is interested in me doing a video where I talk more about spell jars, then I can do so. Just let me know. It's kind of been an idea for a video that I've wanted to do and just haven't filmed it yet. So if you're interested in more information for something like that, then just go ahead and let me know. One reason that I liked this idea is because with a jar, you can add to it. You can add things, if I wanted to, I could actually put coins in here. I could put more of the contents that I already have in here to continue to feed that prosperity. And I did that in a way, but I didn't actually physically add anything more to this. What I did do was and that kind of leads into the next thing that I did for for being able to purchase this new vehicle. I did a lot of what I'm calling intention magic. And so I didn't do any new spell work in terms of like a new charm bag or, you know, any other thing. It was, I basically fed this jar with more energy, with energy for the intent of what I wanted. I specifically needed a car. I specifically had to, I had to get a loan for the car. I had to be able to afford the payment for that loan. I had to be able to afford the additional insurance that I would incur and things of that nature. And so I was putting out that intention, that magic, that energy. I was putting that out into the universe, and it all fell into place very nicely. I have to say that the process that I went through for purchasing this vehicle was done very quickly. It was in a week. You know, I essentially, Monday, I knew that I needed to make something happen, set the ball in motion with the bank, set the ball in motion with looking for a vehicle, found a vehicle, everything happened. Like, it wasn't even a week. It was like 4 days, like literally 4 days. And so I put this intention out into the universe, and I intentionally put in, magic energy into this prosperity jar, and I feel like my the energy that I put out was definitely, it came back to me. And so, you know, I did the mundane things that I needed to do. I looked at my budget. I contacted the bank. I went shopping for cars, you know, and so I feel like those 4 days were kind of a blur, but I feel like I did everything that I needed to do to manifest this vehicle in my life. I feel that the gods definitely had a hand in this. The vehicle that I found, I'll try to put in like somewhere. I'll put in, I took a little video just kind of like showing what my new car looks like. So I got a car that's only 2 years old, and I found a car that the mileage was really low, and I found a car that still has warranties on it. And so I feel like I took the steps that I needed to take in order to get the vehicle. And I am incredibly thankful to the gods, because I'm not entirely sure who I have to thank about this. That's why I'm saying the gods, because I don't know exactly who brought this about. I wasn't working with any one spirit guide or deity or anything like that to make this happen. But I was definitely thankful, and I'm giving thanks like every day, because I'm able to afford it. I was able to get the loan, and I'm able to, you know, afford the insurance as well. So that is the magic that I kind of worked in order to get the car. Okay, so you've got your new vehicle, and now what's the next magical step? Well, the next magical step I would suggest is that you probably want to clear it and get rid of any problems, especially if you're purchasing a used car. You want to get rid of any problems, lingering energy, any like residue from the previous owner. So I would suggest looking at what you like to do in your practice for cleansing. And there's tons of things out there. You could either light an incense and, you know, just kind of walk around the vehicle, you know, go inside the vehicle, pop the hood, pop the trunk, you know, kind of get all the crevices. You can either do incense. If you like smudge sticks, you can do smudge sticks. You can do Palo Santo, especially if you know that it came from somewhere where there was lots of trouble. For me, I look at Palo Santo as kind of like the supercharger clearing, like big, you know, problems or whatever. If you're not into burning things, there's always a spray of some kind. This happens to be Florida water, which is great for protection and clearing and cleansing and all that kind of stuff. So Florida water would be a good idea. There's lots of folks out there too that are also making their own clearing sprays and selling them. I know that I have one from Dorothy Morrison, and I have one that I just bought at Convocation from Heather at Violet Flame Gifts. So you could always use a purchased clearing spray, or you could actually use make your own. You know, making sprays is so incredibly easy. And I'm pretty sure I've talked about this before. All you got to do is buy, this is a little spray bottle that I think I picked up from like a dollar store. And that's what I chose to put this Florida water. I purchased this Florida water, but I put it in here so that I could travel with it if I needed to. But you just need a little distilled water and your choice of essential oils that mean cleansing or whatever your purpose is. And then you could add a few drops of alcohol, like a high proof vodka, to kind of help keep it from going bad. And so you could use a spray too. And a spray might actually be nicer for this purpose because, you know, especially if you're spraying it inside the vehicle, then it's gonna kind of get on your seats and stuff like that. So if you don't want a burn smell from an incense stick or a smudge stick, then maybe a spray might be a better option for you. So yeah, you want to do a nice clearing. You could also do white light. You could do energetic clearing, whatever. Like I said, whatever floats your boat, whatever you like to do in your regular practice. Clearing is muy importante. And so, yeah, so there's clearing. And then the next thing you want to do is start thinking about protection for your vehicle, for yourself, for your passengers, for your children, you know, pets, whoever might be traveling in this vehicle. And so I actually kind of do a multi-level protection in vehicles. The first thing that I do straight out the gate is I do a visualization, and this kind of happens, or I reinforce it just about every time I get in the vehicle to go somewhere. I envision an egg, basically, an egg shape or an oval shape that goes around the entire vehicle like a shield. Okay, and I think of blue light, and so I visualize it starting at the front of the car, at the bumper, and then it goes all the way around the sides, it goes up the top, it even goes in the bottom, or under the bottom, and like into the earth as well. And so I envision that blue shield of protection going around the entire vehicle. And that is my first line of defense. The next thing that I did that I'm going to carry into this new vehicle is I work with a bear spirit who happens to have a name. She's Mama Bear, and she is the animal spirit that I work with that comes from the north. So from the north, that is where my grounding is from. That's where my protection is from. And she is a super incredible protective animal spirit. And so I connected with her very early on in my workings with animal spirits, and she can be fierce. And so I just so happen to have this necklace that I was gifted from a friend's mom, and she was able to get ethically harvested bear claws, and so she made pendants out of them and made necklaces. And so in my previous vehicle, this hung from the rear view mirror. And every time I saw it, I thought of Mama Bear, and I asked her, when I put it in the vehicle, I asked her if she would help to protect me and to protect the vehicle, and she did. She did an amazing job, and I'm super grateful and super thankful to her for every ounce of protection that she gave to me and that vehicle. And so this is going to now go into the new vehicle, but I also want to do a little cleansing on this. And this one, I'll probably just do a little centering of myself and think about protection and think about my relationship with Mama Bear and ask her to once again continue to protect me and to protect this vehicle and to protect any passengers. And yeah, just let that protection kind of flow, and that questioning and that that please help me, let that go into this. This is basically a talisman that I'm charging for protection purposes. And yes, she's willing to continue to protect me and my vehicle. And so this, I don't know for sure if I'm going to hang this from the rear view mirror again. I probably will. But yes, that's the next layer of protection that I will put in the car. The next thing that you can do in protection for a vehicle is I have this. And you might say, Helen, what is that? Well, this is a piece of magical chalk that I made and put, this is a protection chalk. And so this is for use not only in cars, but you can use something like this in anything, for anything that you want protection with. And so I have a protection sigil that I will use, and you can use this. So this, like I said, this is chalk. You want to be careful. Obviously, you don't want to use this on a painted surface. Like, I'm not going to go up to my hood and draw my protection sigil, but so, you know, you got to think about this, but it might be, it's totally cool to draw a sigil on your tires. Draw a sigil on the engine. Draw a sigil, you know, on a piece of paper and put it in your glove box or in your trunk or something along those lines. I could even draw a sigil on the underside of the hood, because that's, you know, it's not gonna mess up the paint job there, and if it did, it wouldn't be as noticeable as if it were on the outside of the vehicle. So something along those lines. So this is definitely something that's another layer of protection that I will use on the vehicle. The last thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to create a vehicle protection sachet or charm bag. And so this is actually the charm bag that I pulled out from my previous vehicle. And so I'm not going to just take this from one vehicle to another. You could, I guess, if you wanted to, but I want to create a new one. Mostly because new vehicle, new energy, new protection. And secondly, this was made from one of the cute little organza bags that you can pick up in a multi-pack from most craft stores. And this one, it's actually started to rip. And so I wouldn't use this again anyhow, because it would, you know, come apart. So what I am going to do is I am going to... This was knotted. I am going to take these items. I'm going to take the inner workings of this, and I'm going to put them in I'm going to recycle the magical content. Okay, so the herbs and things like that that went into this little sachet, I will deal with them as I do my other magical refuse, which I believe I've done a video on that. If I can find that video, I will put it in. I'll put a link in the description box to show you what I do with my magical refuse. There is a stone in here, however, and it is a piece of... oh, I thought it was hematite at first, but now that I've got it out, it's a piece, it's an Apache tear because it's super, super lightweight. So any black stone is going to be great for something like this. I will take this and I will cleanse it. Actually, since I've got some Florida water right here, we'll just use that as a cleanser. Oh yeah, that's good. So I will use that, and I actually have the recipe for this sachet. I'm fairly certain that I found this on Pinterest. I did not write this spell. I'll be honest about it. I found it on Pinterest, and I'm going to go ahead and do a blog post and share this. Unfortunately, I don't know who I grabbed this pin from, so if this happens to be your spell and you're not cool with me using it, then let me know and I'll take it off my blog. But I will talk about the ingredients that I'm going to use here. So you want a little charm bag. You want a bag of some kind. I've got another organza bag here that I'm going to use, but you could also do like a charm bag style, and you could actually put these things in cloth and tie it up like that. So, I mean, you could do a little bottle if you wanted to, but I would make sure that you put it in a place where it's not going to easily break, especially if you use a glass bottle, which if you wanted to do a spell jar, I would suggest that you do a glass bottle. So you want a little bag. You want some dried sage. And so I have sage here that I've got a little bit left over of sage that I've actually grown. You want to use cedar, little cedar there, and some rosemary. You want to use that. You want to use a pinch of salt. I would suggest getting some coarse salt like this, especially if you're using an organza bag like this, because if you use table salt, if you use something that's too finely milled, it's gonna like fall right out. So some chunks of salt. You also want some chunks of dragon's blood, and that's what we've got in there, some dragon's blood resin. You want a protective stone of some kind. Now, the actual original spell called for amethyst, which is totally fine, but I chose to use an Apache tear because I usually associate black stones with protection. I also associate sunstones with protection. So I would do one of those two items. And then if you want, you can also do a small charm, a small pentacle charm that you can tie onto the outside of your bag. Okay, and so those are the items that you want to gather, and you want to put that together, and there's some words of power. And so like I said, I'm going to do a blog post, so I'll put a link in the description box so you can get the whole spell all together. Okay, all right, so yeah, so that's the last level of protection that I'm going to do for this vehicle. Now you probably also want to, I'm thinking about like what are some other vehicle magic that you might want to look at. You might want to look at, coming back to some prosperity magic and coming back to a prosperity jar. Once you have your vehicle in place, you might want to, if your budget is super tight with taking on those commitments, you might want to continue working with a prosperity jar or prosperity magic of your choice that makes it easier so that you can keep up with your bill commitment, your loan payments and your insurance payments and things like that. And you also want to think about maybe setting aside a fund for repairs. I know that that's something that that's definitely in my thoughts at the moment. And so I'm going to be doing my mundane work, of course, of putting aside money and adding some more intention here for my prosperity magic. Trying to think if there's anything else. We've got the protection covered. We got the money covered. Gosh, I feel like there's something that should be like really, really like flashing at me. I mean, there's the happiness of road trips and things like that you might want to take with your new vehicle. But I think that that's kind of like the major stuff that you want to look at as far as keeping up with things and protecting things, clearing things, and things of that nature. So I think I'm going to end this video with those thoughts. So if I'm missing something about vehicle magic, or you have an idea, or something along those lines, put a comment in the say something in the comments, because like I said, I feel like there's something that I'm missing that should be super obvious and it's not coming to me. So help me out, peeps. Look in the description box for those links that I spoke about. If you liked this video, I really try to keep things real with you guys and sharing what's going on in my life, and this is some super major stuff that is so like what's going on in my life right now. So if you liked it, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't done so already, hit the subscribe button. We like to have you come back and check out things here on the channel. What else? Lots of links in the description box for social media, so be sure to check that out. And if you've got any questions on anything, if you've got a suggestion for a video, then I'd like to hear about it. Put that in the comments, or of course you can email me too at heartofthewitchespath@yahoo.com. Thanks for watching. Thanks for taking the time to walk the path for a little while with me. And until next time, blessed be.